To the other story of how there were 25 of CRPF Jawans who were martyred yesterday in a Maoist attack, the worst in 7 years that has been witnessed in Chhattisgarh. Wreath-laying ceremony would be beginning soon. Now the preparations are underway as nation salutes the Sukma Bravehearts. They are 25 Jawans who lost their lives after a group of Maoists, 300 of them, surrounded them. Women and children were part of this group as well. And this entire CRPF battalion was part of the road opening party. My colleague Gaurav Sawant joining us on the story as well. Gaurav, a loss to the nation of the Bravehearts who lost their lives as part of the Maoist attack.
This indeed is a grave loss to the country, but the bigger issue remains, does the government have a strategy to deal with this Maoist menace? What we're noticing at this point of time is that these 25 mortal remains are laid out for the CRPF, and what we are now being told is that the Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh will also be coming here to Raipur to pay homage to the Braves. But real homage to the Braves would actually be the government coming up with a cogent strategy to deal with the Maoist menace. Now, the Red Corridor has now shrunk largely to Bastar, and even in Bastar to in and around the Sukma area. But Devina, it is in this particular area that Maoists have repeatedly targeted CRPF. I mean, just last month, in March, a landmine explosion, resulted in 11 Braves losing their lives. It's exactly in the same belt that 75 Braves lost their life in 2010, and the Congress Party state leadership was killed in 2013. So somewhere down the line, the heart of the Red Corridor needs to be dealt with, and that is where the government strategy so far hasn't succeeded.
And shouldn't they begin with, Gaurav, what you have reported as well, in first filling up the vacant post of the CRPF because it's been headless, it's bleeding. It's the CRPF post which you had reported as well, which 300,000 personnel which do not have a chief at the moment.
You're absolutely right. It's a 300,000 strong force, and it is headless for the past almost 50 days. Why has the government, failed to appoint a new Director General of the CRPF? That's a major part of the problem, because lack of effective leadership also leads to a lot of decisions not being taken. That said, on ground, there are several standard operating procedures, and in the past, that inquiries that have been conducted in past Maoist attacks, they've always revealed that there was somewhere down the line, the moment standard operating procedures are not adhered to in letter and spirit, that's the time the Maoists succeed, and that goes on to show the kind of intelligence that the Maoists had. Now, last night I was speaking to a number of CRPF officers monitoring this operation, and they said that a group of Maoists, they came as farmers and shepherds. They came very close to this CRPF patrol party of 99 personnel. They counted the number of CRPF personnel. They got an assessment of the kind of weapons that they had, and then they went back. And 2.5 hours later, there was an attack from 3 sides in multiple waves. So that goes on to indicate the kind of training, tactics, weapons that the Maoists have, and it defies logic why the CRPF, such a trained force which has been doing a good job in the Maoist belt, would not follow SOPs and be cut down like cannon fodder.
And Gaurav, as you rightly pointed out, after the March 11th attack, also a report was ordered by MHA. The investigation was underway as well. According to sources, there hasn't been a formal report that's been prepared. That why is it the SOPs were not followed, and where do we lack?
Lack in effective accountability, both at the level of the force and the political level. Several experts that I have been speaking to, former CRPF officers, former police officers looking at this problem, Devina, they say that unless there is accountability at the level of superior officers and at the level of the political leadership. So the Raman Singh government in Chhattisgarh has to shoulder responsibility. The local police, the Chhattisgarh police, where is their intelligence input? Where is an intelligence audit on the amount of money that is being spent on intelligence gathering, and whether you're getting results for that intelligence that was gathered? If no, then there needs to be a change in the intelligence leadership. Also, operationally, if there are problems, heads should roll. Unfortunately, that is not happening either at the level of the police force, the CRPF, or even at the political level. So, the government appears to be fumbling and stumbling from one terror attack to the other.
Absolutely. Repeated intel failures, which cost the nation Bravehearts and also families of the Bravehearts who are now demanding justice for them. We're expecting the Home Minister to just land any time now in Raipur as well, Gaurav. And we're expecting that this time round at least, there will be lessons learned. But where could be the start, as you're pointing out? Perhaps the intel inputs need to be verified as well. SOPs need to be laid down as well. And at the same time, perhaps a local reach out is needed, because 300 strong Maoist contingent with women, children and locals is a worrying sign.
You're spot on, Devina. If 300 people assemble, yesterday I was interviewing Prakash Singh, former Director General of Police, and he said even if 300 is an exaggerated number, even if 100 people assembled, then the local intelligence unit of the Chhattisgarh police should have known this. Do they have technical intelligence? Do they have satellite intelligence? Are they using unmanned aerial vehicles? There is so much that needs to be done. Funds are being spent, but are these funds being spent adequately and the right place? Has there been an audit? Now, an audit has been demanded in the past 5 years. It was in the year 2010 when 75 brave CRPF personnel were massacred in a similar attack. Wave after wave of Maoists came and they massacred CRPF personnel. Then again, SOPs were not followed. In 2010, there was a report that was prepared. Subsequently, what were lessons learned? There has been no audit of that, because even yesterday's incident is very similar to what happened there. Maoists taking advantage of a higher ground, Maoists attacking right at a meal's time and attacking in waves. First creating a false attack. The moment the CRPF focused all their attention on one flank, the real attack came from the second flank. All of that is very well documented, and yet it continues to happen repeatedly. So there is high time that an audit is carried out. Also, is there a need for officers and jawans to train together? Who was the senior most officer who was leading a 99-member patrol? Where was he at the time? Where were some people missing? There are many questions that remain unanswered at this stage.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully, we'll see these answers sooner. And this time round, there would be a tough reply from the Indian government as well to crack down on Maoist menace in the area. Thanks for joining us this morning.